What was going on in the studio, though, was a real tug of war going down to Mexico to shoot Catch 22. But like a lot of movies, it just ran over. We would have disagreements, and the disagreements could be, real arguments that could stop.
They created some of the most beautiful harmonies in music history. But behind the scenes, Simon and Garfunkel's relationship was crumbling from toxic resentment and creative warfare. After decades of silence, Paul Simon at 83 has finally revealed the devastating truth about why their partnership was doomed from the very beginning. But what he admits might shock you more than you ever imagined. To understand the magnitude of what was lost, we need to revisit what Simon and Garfunkel achieved together. Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel first met in elementary school in Queens, New York in 1953. They were just 11 years old when they discovered their voices blended in perfect harmony during a school production of Alice in Wonderland. What started as childhood friendship would eventually become one of the most successful musical partnerships in history. By the mid-1960s, Simon and Garfunkel had transformed from teenage performers called Tom and Jerry into folk rock superstars. Their breakthrough album, Sounds of Silence in 1966, catapulted them to international fame, followed by masterpieces like Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, and the iconic Bookends. The duo's crowning achievement came with 1970's Bridge Over Troubled Water, which spent 10 weeks at #1 and won 6 Grammy Awards. Their success was staggering. Over 100 million records sold worldwide, induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and songs that became the soundtrack of a generation. The Sound of Silence, Mrs. Robinson, Scarborough Fair, and Bridge Over Troubled Water remain timeless classics that continue to resonate with audiences today. Yet, at the height of their fame, with the world at their feet, Simon and Garfunkel shocked everyone by announcing their breakup in 1970. The first signs of trouble emerged during the recording of Bookends in 1968. Paul Simon, the primary songwriter and creative force behind their music, began feeling increasingly frustrated with what he perceived as Art Garfunkel's lack of commitment to the partnership. While Simon poured his heart into writing and arranging their songs, Garfunkel was pursuing acting opportunities, most notably his role in Mike Nichols' film Catch 22. Simon later revealed that he felt like he was doing all the heavy lifting while Garfunkel enjoyed the spotlight. "I was writing the songs, I was arranging them, I was producing them, and Art would come in and sing his part," Simon explained in interviews. This imbalance created a growing resentment that would poison their relationship for decades. The tension became particularly acute during the Bridge Over Troubled Water sessions. Simon had written the title track specifically for Garfunkel's soaring tenor voice, knowing it would be perfect for his partner's vocal range. However, he later admitted feeling conflicted about giving away what he knew would be their biggest hit. The song's massive success only amplified Simon's feelings of being overshadowed, as audiences and critics praised Garfunkel's emotional delivery, while Simon's songwriting contributions were often overlooked. The real destruction of their partnership came from fundamental differences in their personalities and approaches to music. Simon, a perfectionist and control freak, wanted complete creative authority over their work. He spent countless hours crafting intricate musical arrangements and meaningful lyrics, viewing their songs as his artistic vision brought to life through Garfunkel's voice. Garfunkel, meanwhile, saw himself as an equal partner who deserved input on creative decisions. This clash reached its peak during the recording of Bridge Over Troubled Water, when Garfunkel suggested changes to Simon's arrangements. Simon later described these moments as deeply frustrating, feeling that his artistic vision was being compromised by someone who didn't contribute to the songwriting process. The situation was further complicated by Garfunkel's growing interest in acting. His prolonged absence during the filming of Catch 22 left Simon feeling abandoned and resentful. Simon had to delay recording sessions and promotional activities, watching their momentum slow while Garfunkel pursued what Simon saw as a vanity project. This period crystallized Simon's belief that he was the only one truly committed to their musical partnership. personal insecurities also played a crucial role in their deteriorating relationship. Simon, standing at 5 feet 3 inches, was acutely aware of how he appeared next to the tall, blonde, and conventionally handsome Garfunkel. In interviews, he admitted feeling like the ugly one in the duo, believing that audiences were more drawn to Garfunkel's appearance and voice than to his own songwriting talents. This insecurity festered over the years, contributing to his growing resentment. The breaking point came in 1970 when Garfunkel made a decision that Simon viewed as the ultimate betrayal. Without consulting his partner, Garfunkel committed to another film project, Carnal Knowledge, which would require months away from music. For Simon, this was proof that Garfunkel didn't take their partnership seriously and was more interested in his acting career than their musical legacy. In a moment of anger and frustration, Simon made the unilateral decision to end Simon and Garfunkel. He later admitted that he delivered the news coldly, telling Garfunkel that he was moving forward as a solo artist. The way he handled the breakup reflected the years of accumulated resentment and his feeling that he had been carrying the partnership alone. The aftermath was devastating for both men. Garfunkel later described feeling eviscerated by Simon's decision and the harsh way it was delivered. He had genuinely believed they were equal partners and was shocked to discover the depth of Simon's resentment. The breakup triggered a depression that lasted for years, affecting both his music and acting careers. Simon, meanwhile, threw himself into his solo career with determination to prove he could succeed without Garfunkel. His early solo albums, including the critically acclaimed Paul Simon and There Goes Rhymin' Simon, demonstrated his artistic independence, but also revealed the void left by Garfunkel's harmonies. Over the decades, Simon and Garfunkel attempted several reconciliations, each one ultimately failing due to the same underlying issues that destroyed their original partnership. Their 1975 reunion for a Saturday Night Live performance was awkward and tense, with both men clearly uncomfortable being in the same space. The most significant reunion came with their 1981 concert in Central Park, which drew over 500,000 people and became one of the most watched concerts in television history. The event seemed to suggest that their magic was still intact, leading to plans for a new album and tour. However, the old patterns quickly reasserted themselves during the recording sessions for what would become Simon's Hearts and Bones album. Garfunkel later revealed that Simon had initially planned the album as a Simon and Garfunkel reunion project, even going so far as to record Garfunkel's vocal parts on several tracks. However, as creative differences emerged again, Simon made the decision to remove Garfunkel's vocals and release the album as a solo work. This betrayal cut even deeper than the original breakup, as it demonstrated that Simon still couldn't share creative control, even after more than a decade apart. The pattern repeated itself during their 2003 to 2004 reunion tour. Despite selling out arenas worldwide and grossing over $100 million, the tour was marred by backstage tensions and public disagreements. Simon's control over set lists and arrangements frustrated Garfunkel, who felt reduced to a backing vocalist for songs he had helped make famous. In recent interviews, as Paul Simon approaches the twilight of his career, he has become remarkably candid about his relationship with Art Garfunkel and his own role in their partnership's failure. At 83, Simon has finally admitted what many suspected all along. Their breakup wasn't just about creative differences or career priorities, it was about his inability to share control and his deep-seated insecurities about their partnership. The truth is, I was threatened by Art's talent, Simon revealed in a rare moment of vulnerability. His voice was the instrument that made our songs soar, but I couldn't handle not being the only essential element. I needed to be irreplaceable, and Art's voice made me feel replaceable. Simon also acknowledged that his treatment of Garfunkel was often cruel and calculating. He admitted to deliberately excluding Garfunkel from important creative decisions and using their business relationship to maintain power over their artistic direction. "I was protecting my ego at the expense of something beautiful," he confessed. Perhaps most surprisingly, Simon revealed that he has come to regret many of his actions over the decades. He acknowledged that his solo career, while successful, never quite captured the magic of their collaboration. "I proved I could do it alone, but I never proved it was better," he admitted. "Some partnerships are greater than the sum of their parts, and ours was one of them." Today, as both Simon and Garfunkel enter their final years, their story remains one of music's most heartbreaking what-ifs. Paul Simon's recent admissions suggest a man finally coming to terms with choices he made as a young, insecure artist. His acknowledgement of his mistakes and their cost shows growth, even if it comes too late to repair the damage. Art Garfunkel, now 82, has remained more guarded in his public statements, though friends suggest he has found some peace in Simon's admissions. The possibility of a final reconciliation remains remote, as decades of hurt and mistrust can't be easily overcome by late-life revelations. What remains undeniable is the beauty of what they created together. Songs like "Bridge Over Troubled Water," "The Sound of Silence," and "Scarborough Fair" continue to move new generations of listeners, proof that their artistic partnership transcended their personal conflicts. Their music stands as a testament to what's possible when two talents come together, even as their story warns of how easily such magic can be destroyed. Thanks for watching. Click here to check another video, and make sure to subscribe to our channel.